desired outcomes, but really just kind of catch up and see what's going on. So today in the studio, we have with us, of course, Justin over there producing the heck out of the show. We got to my right, Mr. Kyle Sunday. Good to see you, Kyle. Cambria's watching. And over here, we've got Harold. So, gentlemen, Harold, welcome back to the show. Kyle, welcome back to the show. Something big has happened in your life today. Today is 28 days for you. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm about to transition to the next phase of the program, and I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Have you completed your transition paperwork? Do you know where you're going yet?
Well, I completed it. I need more signatures. Some of the staff isn't here, but I hope I stay in the Clark House. I like it there, and
oh, that's right. You're at Clark House. Right. That's awesome. So tell me, Harold, you've been on the show before, and it wasn't 28 days ago.
No, I was on the show in 2000. I want to say maybe 19 or 19.
It might have been. I mean, we did a few. I don't know what we consider our first episode, but yeah, we had a couple early episodes and things back then, as we were developing this. So, but now we're doing 28 days. So can you talk about, if you're comfortable, talk about what happened, what brought you back, and what's going on now?
What brought me back is I did not work my program. When I left McShin, I didn't do any of the things that kept me clean while I was at McShin. I didn't go to any meetings. I didn't reach out and share how I felt. I just tried to coast by, and I relapsed. So I can identify the problem that I had, and now I'm working in the solution.
Putting that solution to action. I love it. Kyle, you've also recently had some challenges coming up, but you've had some new stuff too. Do you want to talk about what's been going on with you? Anything you want to share with us?
I mean, I'll share what has been going on. So I graduated my 28 days like Harold, and then at the end of my 28 days, I ended up getting hired on as staff here. So I took on that job, and it was a little stressful at first, because when I first came here, I was court ordered. I was like, I'm doing my 28 days. I'm kicking rocks. I'm getting out of here.
I feel that. Yeah.
In and out as fast as possible, and I'm going home. But, being in this program and being around all these good people, it's like, I know that if I would have went home at my 28 days, there's nothing there for me. I would have ended up going back to the same old stuff. And seeing as how they gave this opportunity to me, I wanted to take it because I want to do everything I can for my recovery and to put myself in a position to that, when I do go home, I'll be able to succeed because I'm only 60 days clean now,
I saw some new jewelry posted on Facebook, a new key tag.
Yep. And then, so I got the job here, and then a couple weeks ago, our house leader, because we're both at Clark House, our house leader ended up moving on to, bigger and better things. He still works around here, but so they made me the house leader over at Clark House. So, I'm staff here, house leader over there. So it's a lot, but I like it because I like being, it kind of holds me accountable, having to have this role and all this stuff to do. It makes me want to be a better person because I want to set an example for the next guy. You know what I mean? I'm only 60 days into my recovery, and I'm already, I have a job here. I'm a house leader. I got a second job, and I'm doing all these things, but I have to be careful not to take on too much is what my sponsor told me. Because before I started doing all this stuff, I'd always call my sponsor before you make a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, look, just make sure you're not doing too much. You don't want to overwhelm yourself at first, and it's been going good so far. So we'll see how it goes. I'm having a good time. So
I forgot that the both of you were in the same house together. Harold, you've been you're a repeat visitor with the McShin Foundation, a repeat participant. When you were here the first time, one other time, or was it two other times?
One
other time, right? And I feel this because I'm a repeat guy too, right? You were here back in 2019. How long were you here for the first time?
Well, the first time I came September 5th, 2018,
Okay.
and I left on June 2019. I was here 9 months.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what while you were here those 9 months, now I don't think we didn't live together, did we?
No.
No, we didn't.
No.
But we had Harold and Gerald here at the same time back. You remember
God.
Gerald, right?
Yeah.
And I miss that guy. I haven't seen him in a while. But we had Harold and Gerald here at the same time, and you guys are different people, but I just remember the name always getting stuck in my mouth. I lived with Gerald.
Right.
Harold, so your experience in that 9 months, when you were getting clued in or connected in back then, were you doing anything towards your recovery then? Did you have a sponsor? Did you work any, we talk about 12 steps a lot here, but I mean, did you have a pathway of recovery?
Well, yes, I had a pathway of recovery and I had a sponsor, and I was working the first step, and might have had maybe like 40 days clean, and I relapsed
While
So-
you were a participant.
while I was a participant.
Okay.
And after that relapse, like the shame and guilt,
Yeah.
I never called my sponsor back after the relapse.
Yeah.
And after that relapse, I did not work a program. I just went to meetings,
Yeah.
and that's it, really, pretty much. I would call a couple of people in my network, and we would hang out, but it wasn't like recovery related. We would just go to movies, stuff like that, different activities. But no, after I relapsed that first time, I didn't work any program, and then I relapsed 2 other times while in the program.
Oh, I
The
didn't.
first time I
Oh.
relapsed a total of 3 times.
Mm.
My clean date changed from September 5th, and then I finally got a clean date, which was December the 5th. And I had got the naltrexone
Okay.
implant when they were here. The doctor
Oh, yeah,
came
I
here and did
forgot
the
about that.
implant,
Yeah.
and then after that lasted 3 months, and then I got I was put on Vivitrol, so I did the Vivitrol for a year.
You did that for a year.
Yeah. After that year, though, I guess it was like a free
Yeah.
for a year, and I went back to get the prescription refilled, but it was like almost $1,000, so I couldn't afford it.
Wow. So wait, so are you covered? Do you have insurance?
That's with the insurance.
That's with, is that Medicaid?
No, I
No.
don't have Medicaid.
I want now see that. Okay, and excuse me, I guess that is really none of my business, but that makes me, I didn't realize that there would be a cap on the length that you could go and use the Vivitrol. So that's interesting.
What I heard though is some people, they don't have a cap, but they have Medicaid.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
don't have Medicaid, so it was free for that first year, and after that, with the insurance, it was like $1,000. I had to get it every month, and I couldn't
Mhm.
afford that.
That's insane.
I know Medicaid has no cap for it. Medicaid
Really?
pays for it all.
Because we know that recovery can take a long time, and to get, wow, this I didn't know. So you've given me something to fight for
Right.
here, because that's insane. Well, so you got off the Vivitrol, and then suddenly you're not working a program. You don't have that blocker, built-in system. What's going on in your life otherwise at that point too? Are you working? Pandemic is happening.
Yeah, I always kept employment, and until the pandemic. When the pandemic came, everything shut down, and but see, I had relapsed before the pandemic.
Okay.
But I had got back on track, so I had went and got Suboxone. I was on the Suboxone, and the pandemic hit, and I was just sitting at home in my head, not talking to anybody, and they sent me a stimulus check. They sent
Mhm.
an addict with nothing to do in his head, not working a program, a stimulus check,
$1,400.
and it was like off to the races.
Mhm.
Yeah. That, there's going to be a book written. There's going to be many books written about the pandemic in the future. But the one thing that I'm not eager to read about, but one thing I want to read about is the effects of the stimulus check, and how that really just helped increase the number from 72,000 overdose deaths in 2019 to 93,000 overdose deaths in 2020. And I think that's a huge direct result of direct or maybe indirect, the result of those stimulus checks.
Well, you got to think there was no meetings going on
Mhm.
Yeah.
anywhere, barely. People are getting their money. not being able to go to meetings, not being able to be around their networks, and they're getting these stimulus checks. I mean, if you're not around people in recovery and you can't make your meetings, I mean, I was incarcerated for that time, but I know if I was out and I wasn't able to go to meetings and be around clean people and get my recovery in, and I'm getting all this money, what?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about doing crazy things with that money too. I guess I did do a crazy thing. I took that money and I went around the country, but that in and of itself was a little crazy. But you relapsed, you continued to use, you're stuck in your head, you're home now without a job, you've got this money, you've got the drugs, you have a wife.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Were you living with her at the time?
Yes, we have a home together.
And was she working?
She worked from home.
She was working, so she's working from home, and you're still isolating.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's a huge recipe for some problems. What brought you here? What brought you back?
What brought me back? I was on probation. I had probation for 5 years, and I violated my probation and got incarcerated. And while I was in jail, I just knew. I mean, I was tired. I'm tired of the same old thing, doing the same thing, getting the same results.
Did you violate for a dirty urine?
Yes. And so when I was in jail, I just kept thinking like of McShin. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I went to McShin, it was a great program. I loved the peer-to-peer. And I mean, I had some clean time. I was staying clean. You know what I mean? That's the only time that I had a significant amount of clean time, because I got up to like a little over 10 months before I went back out. But I mean, just having that clean time, I mean, it's the only time in my life I had that long. So I said I wanted to come back here because I know it worked for me if I keep working it, if I put in work.
Yeah.
So the difference this time, I have a sponsor. I have a home group. I'm trying to get more involved and do what they suggest. Last time I was identifying out.
Yeah.
This time I'm identifying in, so I just want to work on myself, become a better man, actually.
Yeah.
So
now that the 28 days is up, so new freedoms, as far as your ability to get out of the building and go back to work and just sort of get back, into some semblance of community, society outside of this building. What are you eager to get back to? What are you nervous about getting back to? And how can we help?
I'm eager to go back to work.
Yeah.
Because it's hard financially because I'm not doing anything. So it's a lot on my wife right now.
Yeah.
So I'm eager to get back just to be able to help and contribute. But I'm also nervous at the same time about it because that's money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm still early in my recovery. I have like 40 some days clean, and
That's
I know
awesome.
and I know money is in my past with a big trigger. But the difference is I communicate. I share how I feel. I got good people around me. I got Kyle. Like me and Kyle are pretty close. Like,
oh yeah.
So I mean, that's big. That's huge to have that network, having someone you can trust.
Yeah.
That you can be honest with. I'm also nervous about like running into certain people. You know what I mean? Because when I go back to work, we work all over. It's not like I'm just at my job. We just stay at one spot. We work everywhere. Every day we're going to different locations, and there's no telling what locations we can go to. Because I know sometimes we go into apartment complexes and do parking lots. We just did a job earlier this year in Mosby Court, and there's different people and places we might do work that I'm kind of like concerned about, because those are big triggers as well, people, places, and things. I just need to keep an open communication line to my network.
Yeah.
I have to stay connected. So
I had a friend, well, actually a participant, participant hit me up over the weekend, and he was upset when he woke up in the morning that he'd had a really deep using dream, a very vivid user dream, and very calmly, did you use? Well, no. I said, are you talking about it? Well, yes. I said, well, you're doing the thing that the program says to do. Like, I know I'm going to have thoughts about using. I do. I absolutely do. And sometimes I'll dwell in those for a little longer than I would like, and that's going to be scary for me. And I have a program that teaches me just because I have a thought doesn't mean I have to act on that thought. That's the piece in my recovery that I don't think I really had early on. Or when I was using for sure. It's like, I want to use, let's go use, boom, and I would find any ways and means to get to that using point. So, we're talking about triggers over here. Kyle, I'm sure some of the same triggers probably for you. Talk about how you deal with triggers, because this is a good conversation for me as well. What are some of your triggers and how do you cope with that?
A lot of my triggers are like emotions. Happiness. You don't even got to be depressed. Happiness. I'm happy. It's a nice day, man. It would be good to go out and, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I know
Now,
exactly what you mean.
loneliness,
Yeah.
sitting around, you get lonely, sadness, anger, all that stuff is what I use drugs to escape from. Because when I was high, I never had to deal with when I was high, man. Shit, I didn't have care in the world.
Yeah.
None of that mattered. It's like I was in a different reality. I didn't have to deal with none of that stuff. So like when you're first getting clean and you're getting all these emotions back, I know that was the toughest part for me, because it's like, I don't want to feel this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't, and it's not just like when you get clean, you get one, you get your happiness back and then maybe you get sad. No, it's all at once. For me, at least, like, wow,
Yeah, right.
it's like, holy
Bam.
shit, like what, I don't, but once you get through that, like the way I found to help me, and like Harold was talking about, is talk to somebody about it. Because being able to like be like, we have a good house full of dudes, what I mean? We all talk to each other, we all sit around and kick it. And like having people like that you can honestly open yourself up to and express your true feelings to and get that shit off your chest. That's like, I mean, that's one of the best gifts of recovery I've had, because me as a man, I don't like talking about my feelings. I was never raised, fucking stop being a crybaby. You know what I mean? Like, you don't talk about that shit. You go to work and make money and support your family. You don't deal with all that. So for me, it's hard. It was hard to be able to open up to somebody like that. But being around a bunch of guys I trust, that I can be like, look, man, I'm screwed up right now.
Yeah.
I'm lonely. I'm sad. And I don't have to worry about them judging me. And once you get that shit off your chest and you talk about it, and Harold's a funny dude, like he'll make you laugh all night. Like it's
Yes.
good. It's good for the soul, man. So it's like, for me, yeah, I have those triggers, but being able to talk about it to people that you trust, man, that's one of the biggest gifts I've gotten out of here. Even in NA meetings and sharing with other people you might not know, that's a safe room where you can go there and express how you feel and you're not going to be judged.
Yeah. I've had a few moments over the past few days that have shifted, altered, maybe, I don't know, helped me reflect on what I'm doing with my recovery. And one of those things was the party we did on Saturday. And I know you were there. You weren't there
No.
at Saturday, but there was a 17th anniversary party for the McShin Foundation. I know Justin was there, poor guy.
Yes, I was.
But we were there all together at John and Carol's home. And I'd forgotten just how much I loved that, how much I missed that. You've been to John and Carol's house?
Yes.
Yeah. And for like what, a bonfire?
Yeah. Well, many different events, bonfires, Christmas party.
Oh my gosh, the Christmas party. That's, I mean, like we missed that last year. We've missed those big giant gatherings. And I remember just hugging everybody on Saturday, and I think getting into recovery, I wasn't much of a hugger. And then you around here, right, you hug everybody. And then last year, you got used to doing the fist bumps and whatnot. And I sort of got away from it, and I sort of retreated back into the, leave me the heck alone, because of the no meetings. And, as Gwen Smith up here in the comments says, ABC stores were open for the entire time, but the meetings all closed down. It does create a perfect storm of horrors, she says. I love that imagery. Well, I mean, I love it and I hate it because it's reality.
Yeah.
But it did. We've got mixed drinks being delivered to the house.
Yeah, they got delivery now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the DAC gets stacked against us. So we in the recovery community, have an even stronger, desire to help the next person. I think, it sort of makes me realize that the more I reach out to help somebody else, the more I'm helping myself. Because I'm really one bad decision away from throwing away everything in my life. And I don't mean material stuff. I mean my sense of purpose, my serenity, my peace of mind, which are all things that I have to work on in my program of recovery every single day. But I get to do that. I don't have to do that. I get to do that now, which is awesome for me. Like, I get to get up in the morning and do my gratitude. I get to get up in the morning and I do pray in the morning. I usually pray while I'm driving. That's not a knock on my driving. It's just a thing. I
pray when you drive too, Nathan.
That's all right.
But anyway, so like being able to share that like with each other. I love that you've built a house over there. I've built a community of guys. What did you call it? A good house of dudes?
Yeah.
Sounds like a band name.
Yep.
Good
house of dudes.
Good house of dudes.
Boom. There it is.
There it is, right?
I will say, like, during that pandemic, I was super isolated, and I had already relapsed at that point. But that pandemic made it 10 times worse. And it's not completely over yet, but I was living, with a girl, and we actually lived in the apartment that was above the office of a storage unit facility. So we were absolutely isolated. We didn't have any neighbors. We weren't in a neighborhood. We were in an apartment that was
secluded
around nothing. And we didn't really want to go because we took it very seriously. We tried to go as few places as possible. We only went out when it was, groceries or necessities, things like that. And I remember when I got my stimulus check, the first thing I did was went out and picked up.
Yeah.
I didn't spend money on anything else. I mean, and I needed food. I needed, stuff. The first thing I did was I went out and I picked up. And I remember getting that phone call when I was on the way, and it was like, "Hey, where are you going? What are you doing? Don't worry about that."
Yep.
But that's kind of, since I've been here, I've been here for a few months now, but it's amazing to see that, that difference of how being isolated versus how being a part of the recovery community, changes your whole mindset. And I'll be honest, one of the things for me, one of the biggest triggers for me is a change of routine. When I have a routine that I do every day, if something interrupts that, the first thing I think is I want to get high right now. And I didn't really realize it until a few weeks ago, because I had a pretty set routine. And then a couple of things shifted, a couple of things changed, and I had to change that routine. And man, those thoughts came screaming back. And of course, I didn't act on them or anything like that. But it was amazing for me personally to see, how something as simple as a change of routine could cause me to have those thoughts again. So
yeah. But you talked about it when that happened, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did. Absolutely. I did.
I remember driving around with you, and we were driving down a route, and you were telling me, wow, this is the route I used to take to go pick up. And, and what was that?
Yeah.
When we go to pick up speakers or something. And I remember
we were going to Sam Ash.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And sharing that with me. And, I get that.
Yeah.
The first time I drove up 95 and got into Fredericksburg, wow, did I not, it was, I didn't do anything destructive in Richmond. So for me, getting back up north was like, wow.
And it's crazy. Like being an addict, you have to, being an addict in recovery, you have to like constantly be vigilant of, you're going to get triggers all the time when you don't even realize it. Like you'll see something and oh my God, like I used to do this and that and like you have to constantly be aware that at any point during any day, those thoughts could come back.
Yep.
And that's that it sometimes it makes it kind of tough to live with, but that's why we have our network. That's why we have our sponsors. That's why we have people that we can call and talk to and,
Yeah. Well,
kind of talk us off the ledge, if you will,
do other non-using things, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about being in recovery and being around, us, this house full of dudes, right? Is that, when I have that thought, I can talk about it and then be like, all right, well, let's go we got to clean the bathrooms, or, we got this to go do, we're going to a bonfire over here or something. Cause it's like, I'm going to have those thoughts, I'm definitely going to have those thoughts. And I think early on, man, I was really, every time I had that thought, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm the only one who's thinking about using right now. Everybody else is in recovery. Right.
Nope.
And I didn't always want to talk about that. I didn't want to talk about that. So now my ego comes in for me, right? It's like, oh, I got a couple of 24 hours. And so I shouldn't still be having these thoughts. And I don't want to tell newcomers because I don't want to scare newcomers. The reality is, man, I'm a freaking person who used drugs and alcohol for a long time, and as they say in the rooms, right? If you go 10 miles into the woods, you got to come 10 miles back out of the woods, unless you get a helicopter, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I just put a down payment on a helicopter yesterday, y'all. So
fantastic. Did you use your stimulus check?
Nope, that was gone like 3 days after I had it.
Debbie Rosenbaum over there, our illustrious and amazing chairperson of the board. She says, "Glad you're back, Harold." How do you think, Debbie? Debbie. You'll remember Debbie when you meet her. She and Marta used to come in and do the quilting.
Yes, I do.
I think Marta's coming back to do quilting next month. Actually,
they have to do crocheting.
I forgot about the crocheting. Yeah, they're going to come and do quilting. I don't know about the crochet. Marion Allward. Hey Nathan, I'm so grateful for McShin and for what you all taught me about recovery. Almost 18 months now. Congratulations. My prayers are with you all. Awesome. May God be. This is awesome. Okay. I love that. Cambria is saying hello again. Gwen saying the numbers are staggering. I'm in recovery, right? And, I do a lot of different things with a lot of different people. And I talked earlier about something that hit me and how much I didn't realize I was missing right when we had the party. But something else happened yesterday. Like a couple weeks ago and then yesterday, I switched up with I switched sponsors, right? And my previous, this is a good, it's a good thing. I actually am still, really close with my previous sponsor. But I switched up sponsors because I realized I wasn't opening up to my previous sponsor and in a way that was helping me, or at least I felt stuck. I don't know. Maybe it's me, probably me, definitely me. But I switched up sponsors, right? And I told her, I said, I'm feeling lonely. I feel lonely and I'm isolating. And you know what she did? She's like, all right, great. She told me to do to have a position on Intergroup, which is the AA, a 12-step fellowship that deals with alcohol. I guess I don't know what they are, the sort of organizing group for all the district, and she told me for a group there. We've got all kinds of fun noises today. That's telling me I need to shut up. No, that's I told her I was lonely and I wasn't meeting people, and she told me to be a group participation chair, and I was like, really? I gotta have responsibility. Like I ain't got enough responsibility.
Is that on like Zoom or something?
No, that means I gotta go to meetings. That's what it was. She was telling me you need to go to meetings, and she was putting a position in place so I had some accountability too. It's like, oh yeah, right, accountability. So now I get to go to meetings and share what's going on with Intergroup, which is really, hey, come to these meetings, or donate Seventh Tradition Basket. But I get to share and hear new stuff. And as meetings are opening back up, and some meetings never closed, or some, they moved or they went online, but, meetings are coming back. Some meetings are just reopening, right? Just coming back up. And so I've been going to some of those meetings, and I've been taking a couple of newcomers with me too. And I'm sort of getting reinvested. I'd like to say that, my recovery has been this wonderful trajectory upward the entire time, but, I've had peaks and valleys, and last couple months have been really just sort of lonely for me.
Yep.
And I've been sort of making my recovery, which is not a good place for me to do, a good thing for me to do. As Morris can probably know too, Morris Baton up there, our men's program director, says, you guys are awesome. Love and much respect. Love you, Mo. I hope you're having a good day. Cambria asks, what is some advice you would give us as a peer support / friend to help someone in a hard time, even if it's just a bad moment, like if we can't be there physically? Well, you want to start this one off, Harold, because I know that you've got some thoughts on this one. Yeah, right. What can we do? I guess Cambria's kind of asking, what can we do for individuals in recovery when she's not available, when she's not there? Like for your wife, for instance, what can your wife do to support you in your recovery while she's not here physically every single day?
Yeah,
right.
Just sometimes just a listening ear. You know what I mean? Like
That's
I
about
talk
it.
to her on the phone, and just sometimes you just need someone to listen, because we be in our heads a lot, and we do have like you said, those emotions are coming back.
Yeah.
So we have to like talk about them because I don't know how to cope with them with good coping skills. So I mean, sometimes just listening and you can give some positive feedback. Um, Sometimes some constructive criticism. You know what I mean? I mean, I have to be willing to accept it, but I definitely need it. You know what I mean? Sometimes I need a push because I am.
A kick in the ass.
Yeah, because I
can't
am
agree
like
with
I
everything.
procrastinate a lot. Yeah, and sometimes they can be like enabling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, because they love us. But I mean, the best thing to do too is like they have like meetings for the families as well. Like my wife attends, and it gives her a little knowledge because sometimes they'll beat themselves up. Like she might be feeling like, "What did I do, or what could I have done to help them?" But they have to figure it out that they don't have control over it. It's us. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is just that listening ear, some positive feedback.
Well, I like what you said about meetings for the loved one.
Right.
That family support.
Yeah, because they need that
They-
too. I feel
yeah.
too, because they're hurting. They're going through the process like we are in a way. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that at first. I just thought I was affecting myself. Like
Right.
I didn't know how many people was affected by my using. So she's got things that she needs to heal from as well as I have to heal from. So that's
We
key.
hurt the ones we love the most.
Yes.
Oof.
Yep.
We do. And there's a potential for using, and I can speak as a family member of an addict. I can speak as a family member that I can like when I realize that the person is down, I sometimes want to, and I'm speaking, well, I won't go into that, but I'm thinking specifically like I can beat that person up even more. Like, all right, you're already feeling like crap. I can make you feel worse, which is not a good place for me spiritually at all. But even with that, like, even if, well, I might do it intentionally, but I can also do that unintentionally, just like, well, why didn't you do it this way? Or shouldn't you have just done that? Or blah, blah, blah. It's like, hold on a second, we're recognizing that the person next to me is learning skills, that we missed out on while we were using. So what do you think? This is a good question for you. How can people who aren't here physically be supportive?
Oh, I'm a little biased for that one. Because
money.
No, obviously, no, absolutely not. Well, speaking like with her, because she's been with me through when I was getting high and when I was clean. So like, as somebody there to listen or to talk to, like some days I'll be going through some shit and I'll be messaging her and she's like, all right, stop bullshitting me. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? When you have that kind of relationship with people, they know when you're bullshitting.
Yeah.
Like they can tell. And sometimes that's what I need is to somebody to call me on my shit. Cause I'm the type of dude where, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm fine. And I'm sitting here like, man, this fucking shit. You know what I mean? And I need somebody to call me out on my shit. Like, what is wrong with you? Because that's the best thing to do is, like I was saying, talk about it, get it out, and speak to somebody. And like with her, she's been that for me for a long time, and it's good to have somebody you can trust and rely on that is always going to be there for you. Everybody at least needs that one person. Like like with Harold and him having his wife, when he starts to, feel lonely, he's got his wife, but he can't be there with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that open line of communication, like, look, this is how I'm feeling, and just talk about it. And I know it's rough sometimes because like loneliness is one of the hardest ones for me. I miss my son, I miss my family. It sucks, but you got to be able to be willing to talk about it and have somebody that can be that for you. And
Perspective too. I think about the people I come to when the monkeys in my brain are throwing poo. I think of the people in my life I can come to and talk to about that, who aren't gonna aren't gonna help me or co-sign my catastrophizing whatever's going on in my life. I can come, I can talk, I can air it out and be like, okay, I'm done. That was a feeling. I don't need to dwell on this feeling, and goodbye. And there are a few people like that. There are really, I probably am one of those people that if you come to me, I'll be like, all right, come on. All right, well, let me help you get angrier or happier or sadder,
the hype man.
Well, yeah. And
the hype man.
I think in my recovery, that is something that I'm learning to not do, and to be more of a, conduit to serenity. But it's still a potential problem for me because I will cling to somebody's emotion and I will identify with that feeling and I will go down that path with the person and help push the person down the path if I'm dangerous, if I'm not in a spiritual frame of mind. And I think that could be for anybody, like people, loved ones in my life. I can go down that path with my brother, with my mother, definitely with my father, other loved ones in my family. So what about you over there, Mr. Justin? How do you and deal with I don't know, triggers, people who aren't around who want to support you? How would you rather be supported?
I think one of the biggest things for me is people constantly letting me know that they're there, not physically, but shoot me a text, give me a call, Kyle.
Gosh darn it, Kyle.
That's twice. Yeah, man, let me know that you're there and let me know that, if I need you, I can reach out and talk to you. That was, during my last relapse, that was the biggest thing that I didn't have is, a network of people. I felt utterly alone. And I was living with somebody, but I was also using and I was destroying the relationship, and I watched it fall apart, and it was terrible. And that pushed her away, and she was pretty much my only support network. She was the person who I turned to. Of course I had my parents, but I didn't really want to, push my problems onto them and that sort of thing. But, moving forward to nowadays, we still get those thoughts. We still have those feelings. I keep myself incredibly busy, and I keep myself busy within the recovery community. Of course I work here, I'm constantly going to the gym. I live in housing, so I'm constantly around guys that are, looking to me to, be a quote leader of sorts. And that gives me, a lot of strength, honestly, to suppress those thoughts, to keep from acting on those thoughts. I know that, and I told Nathan this a while ago, and he kind of gave me a look. But I said, right now, I just don't have time to use. I don't have the time to use. And that's true. Yep. That's absolutely true. If I were to pick up and use right now, everything that I've been working for, everything that I do would completely fall apart, because everything that I do is in the recovery community, everything. And, I would lose my house. I would lose my job. I would definitely lose my license, like it would all just go immediately downhill. And right now, using is not worth losing all of that. I've worked too hard, and it hasn't even been that long, and I've gained so much back in such a short amount of time. 6 months from now, who knows what's going to happen, but I do know what's going to happen if I use, 6 months from now, I'm going to be right back where I was, 6 months ago,
Yeah.
and I don't ever want to be in that spot again, ever. That's a terrible, terrible place to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like that's the thing. Like life is so much better and so much more fulfilling now. And I credit it all to getting clean and staying clean. That's, I mean, honestly, that's what I credit it all to. And like, I have so many relationships now with so many good people, and it's crazy how fast those relationships develop into, not just friendships, but like, people you can trust, people you can count on, relationships that take, years to build. You can put together in a few months time. A couple of the guys in my house right now, I'm so close with, that I feel like, I would take a bullet for them and they would do the same for me. My sponsor, I've been friends with him for, close to 20 years now. And when I relapsed, we just stopped talking. We didn't talk hardly at all. I would text him every once in a while, and that was really it. Now, he's my sponsor. He was my sponsor before, and now he's my sponsor again. But we have an incredible relationship. He sends me messages all the time of like, hey, you remember this? This was 10 years ago. He does that time hop thing. And just texts that we sent back and forth and stuff like that. And it's, our relationship has gotten so much stronger, and the foundation has become so much stronger. And again, I credit that all to, to getting clean and staying clean, yeah. And that's back to you, Nathan.
Well, you mentioned something that we don't talk about enough on here. You alluded to something that we don't talk enough about here in this space. And I think that's a really good point that I'm trying to do better myself. You're going to the gym. Like, I know that there's a lot of people who get into recovery and
all day or a day.
And,
still small.
Well, still small, but so in my using, and the things that I did to my body, I basically just kind of destroyed the natural chemicals that go through my brain and go through my body. And so one way to really start to get back into what would be a normal, a healthy body is to get back into a healthy routine, including going to the gym, eating healthy. I noticed you had your grilled chicken. Yesterday I had a salad, today. And for me, I didn't really embrace that enough, when I started. So I think it sort of, the chemical balance and the emotions and everything, it just sort of, it's important. Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, and that's the thing. It's not even really going to the gym. Yes, that helps me a lot with, my pride, my physical appearance, my, feeling better about myself. But like, you said, you put so many healthy things. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower, knowing that you're out of deodorant and you need to go to the store and get some, those little things where it's like just tiny, little portions of self-care, that when we're using, we don't think about, like the last thing I cared about when I wanted to go pick up was I need to take a shower first before I go out. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I smell like. I'm trying to go get what I want, and I want it now. And if I stink, I don't care. I'll deal with that later,
Yeah. That's funny you say that, because when we talk about triggers, and we talk about what you just said about not caring about how you smell, there's a big part of my using that involved, well, without getting too deep into it, my addiction, I showered a lot. I was constantly taking showers and grooming myself. There was sort of an addiction, a vanity, if you will, to my addiction. So I won't say that I'm triggered by showering now. I think, but for me, self-care can almost be a, wait a second, am I getting obsessive about that? And that's, different strokes, different types of addictions, and things that we get, focused on. Because I think for me, the I was overcompensating for my feelings of inadequacy, by the vanity, the attention seeking, and then certainly the drug use and the alcohol use. So you're at 28 days, my friend, and you've got 40 days of sobriety.
46.
You're at 40 days? 46.
Yeah.
46. As we're closing out the show right here, I think for all of us, to help you, perhaps if you would share with us, what are you feeling? I mean, you expressed some concern about getting back out. I really appreciate that openness, because I get that. I really get that. What else can we do as part of your network to support you as you transition from this 28 days to this new broader life, back into a community? What can we do?
Like I was saying before, a listening ear, also suggestions, your strength, experience, and hope. You know what I mean? Like, I might come to you with a situation that I don't know how to handle, but you could share your experience or guide me to someone that might know. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of things in life that I don't know how to do sober. You know what I mean? Because I haven't experienced that yet. I know it's going to come. You know what I mean? It's going to be things that's going to come in my life that I don't know how to deal with sober, that I will have to come to someone else with more experience and share it, you know what I mean? And reach out, because there's someone in the rooms that have been through this, and they can tell me how they did it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm new to it. I'm still green. Like we used to say in the streets, you green. You know, I'm still green to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, because when I had the sobriety time last time, I didn't work a program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You just weren't getting high.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is totally different what I'm doing this time, because I'm trying to work the program, and like, I can kind of get clean. I don't know how to, I need to work on the recovery. You know what I mean? I got to work on myself. You know what I mean? I know how not to pick up drugs, but I don't know how to live without drugs. You see what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now. So really, it's just like a open ear. Like, if I come to you and say, "Hey, I'm going through this. I don't know how to handle it. Give me some advice, suggestions," or if you don't have the answer, don't just make up some crap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you don't have the answer, just be honest and tell me, I don't know what to do, and maybe direct me to someone who does. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people in recovery, they might just tell you something.
Yeah.
And they might tell you something that they haven't experienced. They really don't know. They're giving me an opinion instead of a fact, you know what I mean? I need someone I don't need your opinion, because you're an addict as well. You know what I'm saying? So your opinion is just as good as mine. You know what I mean? If you haven't experienced it and been through it, I'd rather someone to be honest and say, "Look, man, I never had that situation happen. I don't know." You know what I mean? And that's okay. Just be, you know what I mean? But I just don't want someone to lead me the wrong way, because I'm green. So I might take what they tell me, and that might lead me down the wrong path. You know what I'm saying? Because I can take their advice, and it might not be good advice, but I wouldn't know, because I don't know, and it might lead me the wrong way. So, just be honest with me.
Right.
It's key, honest. And
I don't go to a barbershop to fix my car.
exactly.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah. I get
Well,
that.
I know a guy.
So. You know, well, some guys are multifaceted. But any closing thoughts, Kyle?
Well, like Harold was saying, that's why it's good if you're coming in, even just to get a temporary sponsor, even if it's just, like I said, temporary, because everybody's got their own opinion. But the people that are willing to sponsor you, if they've got more than a year clean and they're willing to sponsor you, that means they've obviously got a wealth of knowledge. And if they don't know, I'm sure they know somebody that knows. It's good to have. Like with me, it was hard for me to find a sponsor, because the way I thought about it in my head when I first got here is, when I find a sponsor, then I'm going to actually have to start doing shit. You know what I mean? Then they're going to be like, "Well, you got to do this." I'm like, "Well, shit."
Some accountability.
Yeah, some accountability. But, I'm glad I waited and found somebody that I could connect with, and I can talk to my sponsor about any and everything.
And I know you're a sponsor. He's just as crazy as you are.
Yes, that's why it's a very good relationship, and the sponsorship family I have is a bunch of wonderful guys, and I'm glad to be part of that group. But like for somebody just coming in, yeah, get you a temporary sponsor, man, because there's people out here that don't have the answers, and you don't want to get the wrong advice from somebody. It may not be malicious. They may not, give you that advice, trying to hurt you. But if they've never been in that situation, then everybody's different. We all work our own way of recovery, and we all have different ways of dealing with stuff, so getting a temporary sponsor and, having somebody that has a little bit of knowledge, more than you at least, so that when you get into a crisis or when you get in one of them situations, you have somebody to call that, if they don't have the answer, they probably know somebody that does.
Any closing thoughts, Justin?
Yeah, making the decision to get clean, change your life, it's a very scary decision. And there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things, at least for me, there was a lot of things that ran through my head. How am I going to eat? I don't have a job. Where am I going to go? Everywhere you go, you have to pay bed fees. How am I going to do all that? I don't have a license. I don't have a car, this, that, and the other. How am I going to do this? At McShin, they welcome you in with open arms. We have a link basically to a Facebook fundraiser where you can go and donate. And that basically goes directly towards helping people, that want to change their life, that want to get clean, that need help, that are in the same situation that all of us once were. You can go on that. You can follow that link, go on the Facebook page.
That goes actually directly to McShin's page.
Oh, does it?
It does,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. That helps people, pay their bed fees, helps people get food. It helps people get toiletries. That I think what is the goal? Paying for a month of bed fees and that type thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, follow that link. It's directly to the McShin page. Donate if you can.
Donate if you can, right?
That's a great way to, if you don't know how, you want to advocate for the recovery community, but you're not really sure how. This is a great way to do it. So I'm going to run that link until the end of the show. Copy it down. Do what you do.
Well, and it is about supporting the addict, supporting the individual at the beginning and helping to get the clothing or the food and the things that we need right off the bat. But it's also about helping an addict find some peace of mind and some calm and serenity.
Mm-hmm.
When we first, or at least I'll speak in I statements, when I first got to McShin, when I first got into our housing, I like Justin was saying, I didn't know where I was going to get a meal from. I had a bag of groceries. All the people around me were eating barbecue I'm saying this because Justin was my first house leader, and they did a lot of barbecuing back then. But they shared with me. They said, "Hey, you need to eat too," and they brought. They helped me and helped me get acclimated. But yeah, didn't have a car, didn't have a ride. I brought a bag of clothes, and so peace of mind and calm, because we talk about this all the time. It's an investment in recovery. When we invest in recovery, we build stronger families and we create safer communities and we produce healthier citizens. So one way that we can demonstrate that is by making that donation and helping McShin celebrate 17 years of having the door open. For me, that was so important, having that door open. I sound like I'm doing NPR, so excuse me.
Having that door open, talking softly on NPR.
Talking softly reminds me of the old Ira Glass and the that's a long story. So anyway,
you come to McShin, man. You're not gonna go hungry. You're not gonna be cold. You're not gonna be too hot. You're gonna be fine. If you're scared about getting help, man, don't be, man. This is a great place to be. It's a great place to start your recovery path.
You might be too hot though if you're sitting right here in the studio with the AC off. So let's get that straight. Hey, there's another comment up there. I want to make sure that we look at that real quick. Debbie Rosenbaum. Debbie says, Harold. What does she say? Harold, Marta, and I wish you all the best in life. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Debbie, I'm glad you watched through. It was good to see you and hug you and Ed on Saturday. So many more thoughts. I know that we could go on and on and on here, but we do need to close out and land the plane. But I just want to tell everybody, tomorrow we have, of course, Joyce and Dixie in the studio for Women Wednesdays, talking about recovery issues important to women. And then on Thursday, we have Sue Halstead. I probably mispronounced her name. Polston. Halstead Polston. Sue is amazing. She is the executive director for Sunrise Community for Recovery and Wellness in Asheville, North Carolina. I met Sue just a little over a year ago on my Recovery Across America, or as we were calling it then, Addiction Across America 2020 tour. So I was driving around the country. So we're going to check in with Sue. We're going to find out what's been going on down there, see how her recovery is progressing, and see what we can do maybe as we grow forward into the future together. So with that, thank you everybody who watched and listened today, or who's listening, and to everybody who is incarcerated who might be listening right now. Look, this is a community. I came through a jail program. You also, Kyle, came through a jail program. Were you in a McShin jail program?
No, they didn't have a McShin, but I came through a program from jail.
So you had a recovery, some sort of pod, in jail that was recovery oriented? No. See, you missed out.
Yes.
You missed out. See, so your funding could help support that too. If you want to find recovery and you want to come and do something different, we can help you with that. We can help you get acclimated. So thank you again, Justin, for your amazing producing skills. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.